What will your life feel like if nothing changes? Hello, my name is Nicole Kramer, and I am a friend of Robin's. I am a sales coach for female health and wellness entrepreneurs, and I love talking sales. So I'm on here on Robin's channel so I can share a couple of things with you today about discovery calls and what you need to do to make them successful for you. So I'm excited to be here because this is absolutely one of my favorite things to talk about with sales, because discovery calls are really your opportunity to further the relationship that you've already been building with somebody, get to know them a little bit better, and help them make a decision that's going to change their life. So I'm going to share with you today my framework. And I don't like being too rigid or precise around a script. I think a framework gives you a little bit more opportunity to kind of build in your own wording in, because you want to show up as yourself. You want to sound like yourself when you're having a conversation with somebody on a sales call. So I'm going to go through the parts of a discovery call and I'm going to give you some suggestions on what you can do to be successful in each of these parts. And then I want you to take the script that we're going to give you. It will be in the notes of this video and you can download it. And when you get this script, use these different parts and fill in, write in your own words, how you would say these things, because that's that's the most important part is showing up as you, because really the reason people want to buy from you is because of you. They like your energy. Let's be real. There's a lot of other people selling the same stuff you're selling, but nobody is you. Nobody on this planet can do what you do. So somebody else might do a similar thing. Another coach might serve a similar audience, but you are unique and unlike anybody else. And that's why people are going to be attracted to working with you. If it's your first discovery call, you might be a little nervous. That's okay. The more you do, the better you'll get. It's all practice, but just be real with them. Because one of the things, before I get into any more of the intro, one of the things I want to remind you about discovery calls in general, become unattached to the outcome. This is not your opportunity to convince somebody to work with you or to beg somebody to work with you. That's the wrong kind of energy to get on this call with. What you want to be thinking before you get on this call is, I want the highest and best outcome for everybody involved. Sometimes that means that person becomes your client. Sometimes it means that they don't. But really, that is ultimately what you want as a result of this conversation. I want the highest and best outcome for everyone involved in this conversation. So take my framework that I'm going to give you as a part of watching this video. And like I said, write your own script, write your own words in these different parts that I'm going to share. When you get somebody on a call, first of all, this is probably not the first time that they've ever heard of you or will be in some kind of a conversation with you, right? Everything that I do, that I teach with sales, is relationship driven. So to me, getting on a discovery call is one of the most exciting things in the world, because it means the relationship has gotten to that point. So everything that I'm doing is nurturing people, getting to know people. And when I see an opportunity, then I'm inviting them onto a call. And now, more than likely, you should have a questionnaire or some kind of information gathering opportunity where you'll know a little bit about them before they get on the call with you. If you don't have a questionnaire, at least go to their profiles, go to their social media, and find out a few things about them. It's really, really nice when you get on a call with somebody and they already know a little bit about you and you already know a little bit about them. The first thing I want you to do when they do get on this call with you is be a human being. Talk to them. Hey, how are you? I'm really grateful that you took time to have this call, to have this conversation with me. So thank you so much for being here. Introduce yourself if they don't know you very well yet, and ask them some questions about them. And then you can chit chat for a minute, right? You can say, I don't know, maybe you both have a cat that's a calico cat. Maybe you both, I don't know, your kids are both in kindergarten. Maybe you're whatever. Find something that is relatable, that you can bring up, that you can mention, that they filled out in their questionnaire, something that you know about them. And it's a way to kind of just make them feel comfortable. That's what you want to do. They're going to be nervous too. You think you're nervous? You think you're nervous about getting on this call because you're like, oh my God, I hope I say the right things. I hope I do the right things. I hope they become my client. Okay. First of all, I just told you, become unattached. Second of all, if you think you're nervous, they are too. Not only are they nervous, but that same fear that they have around whatever their pain points are right now, that fear is showing up on this call. They're nervous. They're worried. They don't know what to expect on the call. So help them at the very beginning by just having a conversation, chat with them for a minute or two. Now, be mindful. This is a business call. This is something where you want to respect your time and theirs. So don't go on for 15 minutes chatting about, the weather and where they live and how old their kids are. And this is not a friendship call. This is a business call, but I want you to be friendly. I want you to be friendly. Get them to let their guard down, right? That's what you want. And then you're going to pre-frame the call. So step one is intro, just chit chat for a minute or two. And then you're going to pre-frame. Remember how I told you that they're going to be nervous? You're probably going to be nervous too. You giving them an idea of what to expect on the call not only helps you because you have a little bit of an outline, but then they know what to expect. They're not sitting there going, oh God, what's happening next? Why is she asking me this? Why does he want to know this? Right? Give them an idea of how the call is going to go. So here's how the call is going to go. I'm going to ask you some questions and I want to find out a little bit more. I know you filled out the questionnaire and I really appreciate that. And I'm just going to ask you some more questions to find out really, a little bit more about your situation. And I also want you to feel seen and heard. And I want you to feel safe sharing with me. And I want to get to the bottom of what's going on for you so that I can make some recommendations for you. And then at the end, if you decide that you'd like to hear a little bit more about my programs and services, then we'll reserve some time at the end to do that as well. How does that sound? Hear what I said at the very end. It's not as important exactly how you pre-frame the call. It's let them in on how the call is going to go and then ask for their permission. How does that sound for you? Does that sound good for you? However you want to say it, get their buy-in right then. So it's really setting them up for their expectations, helping them feel comfortable with the flow of the call, getting their buy-in. And really what you're doing right then when you get their buy-in, when you ask them, how does that sound for you? You're getting your first micro commitment. Micro commitments are really important. And what they are is you're getting that person used to saying yes to you. You're getting them comfortable saying yes to you. All through the call, you want to get these little micro commitments. And here's the thing, even before they got on the call with you, you were always getting every time that they connected with you, every time that they showed up on one of your live free trainings, every time that they commented on one of your posts. Those are all little micro commitments, right? They're just stepping closer and closer into your world. Now, here's what I love to do. Right after I pre-frame, I like to say, now that I've shared with you how the call is going to go, I'd like to know what would make this call a success for you, and then let them share. You'll find out right then what they're looking to get out of the call, which is really valuable. They might share something that you didn't even expect. They might say, well, I'm really interested in working with you and I want to find out, if you can really help me with what's going on. They might say right from the beginning, I'm interested in working with you. They might say, I want to find out a little bit more about what you think about my condition, problem, whatever it is. And I also like to hear more about your services. I'm curious. Okay, cool. So just find out what would make this call a success for you. And then I want you to also overcome some objections at the very beginning. And you might be going, wait, what objections? That's exactly my point. Before they've given any objections, before they even have an opportunity to object to anything, I want you to ask them, before we get started, I'd like to know, who else in your life does your health affect? And they might say, oh, my kids would really love if I could, run around and play with them more. My husband would be so happy if we could ride bikes together. He just loves riding bikes and he thinks that that's good, quality time for us to spend together. Great. How does he feel about you being on this call? So find out right from the beginning what some of the objections might be. Another question I like to ask, if you like everything that we talk about today and it resonates with you and you feel comfortable, and interested in making some of these changes, are you prepared to make a decision today about moving forward and working together? Again, just find out from the beginning of the call where their head's at. Whatever they answer right then does not mean that they're going to, that is how the call is going to go. I've had a lot of people say to me, oh, I just want to find out more about what you do. Cool. And by the end, they're like, here you go. Here's my credit card. I'm ready to do this. So really what you're doing by overcoming these objections, I want you to overcome them before they overcome you. Find out, is there a partner involved? Is there somebody that they would need to check with? So when you say, who else does this condition affect in your life? And they say, my husband would really love to ride bikes together. Say, great. How does he feel about you being on this call? Or does he know that you're interested in making some of these changes? How would he feel about you making an investment to working on some of these things that you've shared with me? Find out from the beginning. That way you're not surprised at the end when they say, I've got to go check with my partner. Okay, so overcoming objections. Who else does this affect in your life? How do they feel about you being on this call? All really, really helpful. And like I said, after talking today, if you feel that this is the right fit for you, is there anything that would prevent you from moving forward? There's a powerful one. Again, you're overcoming objections before you get to the end of the call, and they use those objections out of fear. That's what people are using objections for. Those objections are actually buying signals. They're afraid. They're afraid to say yes. There's some fears holding them back. Find out from the get-go what those fears are. Disarm them. Just kind of help them feel comfortable. Pain points. This is the next step. You want to immediately dig in and answer or ask some questions about what their pain points are. Why are we on this call? Share with me, what are some of the reasons that you feel that this call is going to be beneficial for you? You want to ask them some questions about the pain points they have shared with you. What would you say are your biggest struggles with losing weight? And then let them talk. It's one of the most valuable, important things you can do on any sales call, on any conversation with somebody. Let them talk, let them share. You know why? You need to hear it, and they need to hear it. A lot of times what they're saying out loud is the first time they're saying it out loud. A lot of people have kept they're in fear. They're afraid of what's going on with their body. They don't know how to help themselves. That's a very vulnerable, scary place to be. And a lot of times they've kept a lot of these things in their head. And you're the first person that's actually listening, that's actually hearing them. Allow them to feel seen and heard. That is so important. So jump right into their pain points. You want them to say it out loud. You want to be listening. Be a good active listener. You're going to hear things that you'll be able to use later on in the call. That's another reason why you want to listen. So as they're sharing, let them say it. Let them feel how it feels to share their pain. Feeling, emotion is how people buy. That's what's going to make people, they don't buy with logic and reasoning. They buy with emotion because they feel that, oh my gosh, I don't want to be in this pain. And then they're going to feel connected to some of the solutions that you're going to be recommending and suggesting to them. And don't worry, all of everything that I'm sharing right now comes in the free download that you're going to get that has the discovery call framework. So I'm sharing the framework with you right now. I'm talking you through it. And then you're going to get your own copy of this as well if you go in the video notes and download it. Okay, after you cover their pain points, it's kind of like a roller coaster, right? It's like, okay, here we are going up the hill, intro, chit chat, pre-frame, and then it's like, oh my God, we're going to go into oh, this is so scary. They're scared, right? You've taken them through their pain. You've discussed and divulged some of the things that are going on that are really scary for them. Now you're going to bring them back up to like their visions. How do you expect to feel when you've achieved these results? What do you think it will feel like once you've eliminated this problem from your life? What will you be able to do once this is fixed, healed, behind you? Get them into the dreaming mode. Like, now we've scared you, we've gone down the hill. Now we're going to go back up. We're going to bring you up. We're going to elevate you. We're going to expand you to what's possible. Let's talk about your visions. Let's talk about your dreams. How do you want to feel? How will you know when you get there? What will you be able to do in your life once you eliminate this pain, this problem, this condition? So find out from them what is going to really help them, what their visions are for what that will feel like. We're going back down the roller coaster. We're going back down the hill. What are the consequences to not achieving this? So we've said, what are the pain points? What are you experiencing that you don't want to experience? How will it feel when you don't have to experience that anymore? And what will happen if you don't achieve these results? What will happen if you don't change these things that you've shared with me? What will your life feel like if nothing changes? Where will you be 5 months from now if you've done nothing about this? See how it's like they need to feel the emotion, the stark reality of the fact that they've just shared some pain with you. Spend some time with them in that pain point portion. They've shared some pain with you. Then they've shared their desires and their dreams and their visions for what they want it to feel like. And now you need to remind them they haven't done anything about it yet. And the way you're reminding them of that is, what are the consequences to not achieving these goals? How will it feel if 5 months from now you're still in the same place? You know, so many people want to be afraid of the cost of a program. What's the cost of staying in the same place? Remind them of that. All right, then we're going to revisit their dreams. So see how it's like, you know, we're getting them to feel something. You've got to get people to feel something on this call. So they feel their pain. They get excited about the vision. They get scared of the consequences if they don't. Now let's come back. Let's come back and use their words. You know, I heard you say that riding bikes with your husband would be something that would be really beautiful for your relationship. How do you expect to make that happen if you don't make some of these changes? Based on what you've told me today, and based on what you shared with me about the dreams that you have for your life, it sounds like there's some changes that you're going to need to make. How does that feel for you? Again, get them to share, get them to talk, get them to feel something. And this is where you get to say, based on the fact that you said this, I would recommend that you do this. See how you're not trying to convince that, you're just making a recommendation. Share with them a little bit of free value. I would recommend you do this, this, and this. And after you say that, say, and I'd like to ask, out of curiosity, how would it feel to have support with these things that I'm recommending that you do? And then let them share. Oh my gosh, it would be amazing to have that support. My program addresses these things. And because it sounds like this is exactly where you're at and exactly where you're looking to go, I'd love to share some of the details of my program if you're interested. If you feel like this would be a good fit for you, get their permission. Remember those micro commitments. You're getting their permission every step of the way. So this is revisiting their dreams and their visions and connecting it to your programs and services. You told me you want to feel this way. My program helps with that. How does that sound for you? Would you like some more information? How would it feel to have support in that area, right? You're just always asking questions, getting their buy-in, getting their agreement to go on to the next step. And so you're sharing your program. Now, after you've shared your program, you've connected it to their dreams and visions. You've said, based on this, I help with this. Now you're going to hear some objections. Now is when you want to overcome the objections. Address them head on. Remember, objections are just buying signals. Objections are not anything to be afraid of. If somebody really doesn't want what you have, they're going to say, I'm not interested. Okay. And I mean, if they say I'm not interested, is there something that would make you interested in what I've shared today? Or is there something holding you back from being interested in what I've shared today? There's nothing wrong with asking. But the objections that you are looking to overcome are really just buying signals. They might say, oh, it costs a lot, or, oh, it sounds like a lot of time, or I'm really busy right now, or they're just afraid. They're afraid. That's really what this is. So address them head on. You've just shared with me over the past 30 minutes, all the things that you really are looking to change in your life and improve. And I'm hearing some hesitation now. And I totally understand that. I've been where you are many times. And I understand the hesitation. Is there anything that I can answer for you regarding my program that would make you feel more comfortable, that would put you in a better position to want to make a decision today? Just ask them, address them head on. You are of service to them. You're not pushing them in a salesy way. You're asking them questions and they get to answer. You're having an adult conversation. If they say, no, I'm just really not interested, I just really don't want to do this, great. Well, listen, I really appreciate your time today. If there's any way that I could possibly support you, please stay in touch. Please stay in my world. As you know, I do a lot of live videos and I provide a lot of free value. I'd love to support you in any way I can. And if you do decide that you'd like to look into this further, you know where to find me. I'm always here. Or you overcome the objections and you say, listen, I get it. It's really hard to make an investment when you've got some fears of whether or not this is going to work for you. I've been there before. I've made some pretty big investments in myself. And I remember it can be very scary. I'd like to know, what is the cost of staying where you're at? What is it going to feel like if you're in the same place 3 months from now? What if you could start doing something about this right now and making progress? The other thing I like to say is, I get it. It can feel really scary to make a big investment in yourself. And here's the thing. There's a lot of things I'm going to need you to do that are going to require you to get really uncomfortable during our coaching together. And your opportunity to show me that you're committed and you're ready to put some skin in the game and you're going to show up and get uncomfortable and be willing to do this work, your opportunity to prove that to me starts right now with this initial investment. I get that it's uncomfortable. I also know that where you're at is very uncomfortable. And I know that what I do can help you get to where you want to go. And then stop talking and let them respond. And again, this isn't about you forcing them or you're unattached to the outcome. You're just trying to be of highest service to them and to help them make a decision that's best for them and for you. You don't want somebody saying yes when they really don't mean it. You also don't want somebody saying no when they really don't mean it. So your job is to stay on this call with them when you hear them maybe maybe having some objections that they want to talk through, and offer them that opportunity. Hey, I'm hearing some hesitation. Would you like to discuss that? I want to support you through making the decision that you've already made. I hear you really wanting to do this. I hear that you've made the decision. Are you ready to give yourself permission? Do you want help giving yourself permission to make this decision? Stay in the conversation with them. Show them what kind of coach you're going to be for them. Help them do the hard things. Because by the way, you're going to have to do this the whole time you're coaching them. The whole time you're coaching them, you're going to have to be asking them to get uncomfortable and do uncomfortable things. If nothing changes, right? Your coaching is going to be challenging for them. This is your first opportunity to show them who you really are as a coach and to challenge them, and then close the deal. And close the deal, you might be thinking, yeah, but what if they're ready to say no? Close the deal could mean one of two things. You either close it with a yes or you close it with a no. What you don't want to do is end in a maybe. The maybe is frustrating for you and it's frustrating for them. It's like being in limbo, right? If it's not the right fit for them, that's okay. Maybe it's not right now. A no is just not right now. So when you close the deal, invite them to your program and celebrate them. If they're ready to say yes, get them on that call right then, pay on the call while they're there with you, and then celebrate their decision. This is a really big deal. Celebrate with them, just like you're going to celebrate all of their other wins with them when they are working with you. And the other way to close the deal is, listen, I get it. It might not be the right time for you, but I really care about you and I want you to stay close in my world. You obviously know I do a lot of things where it's free trainings and free resources. And I want to make sure that we stay in touch. And if you change your mind, you know where to find me. I'd also love to schedule a follow-up with you for a couple of months from now, and we can check in. I like to hold people accountable to what they tell me that they're going to do. And you can let me know in a couple months from now where you're at and how things are going. How does that sound? So even though they might not be ready to say yes to you, find a way to stay connected with them. Keep them close in your world, because a no really does just mean a not right now. I've had this happen so many times. People stayed close in my world. They stayed connected to me. And guess what? They eventually bought from me. Sometimes they just need to get to know us a little bit better. They want to feel a little bit more comfortable. And that's what you want to help them feel at the end of the call. Just because they're not saying yes to working with you doesn't mean that they're dead to you. Doesn't mean that anything's gone wrong. It's an opportunity for you to invite them even closer into your world, to continue to serve them, to schedule a follow-up call for a couple of weeks or a couple of months down the road. Whatever you decide with them is best. Okay, so I hope this framework really helps you. I know it's helped so many people that I have worked with. I want you to download, using the notes that you see in this video, download this framework for yourself. And like I said, go through and write your own script in your own words. You want to be real, be a human. And then if this content resonates with you, I have a couple of other things to share with you. First of all, go check out my website, www.healthystepswithnicole. And on that website, you can find out about my programs. If you're interested in working with me, I work with female health and wellness entrepreneurs. You can also find my podcast there. My podcast is a free resource that has so much value. I do sales trainings on there. I interview guest experts. So go to my website and check it out to get those resources. Also, there's a really powerful video that Robin and I did together, and it's a mock discovery call. And I know it's helped all of the people that have watched it. We would love for you to go check it out. You get to see a lot of what I just shared with you today in practice between Robin and I on that call. So the link to that video is also in this video as well. So just check out underneath. And then I also have a discovery call masterclass that I've taught that comes not just with an intense training on what I've just shared with you, but also it comes with my discovery call flow workbook, which has dozens and dozens of questions for you to use and write your own discovery call script so that you can have your own process and go get those clients and change the world, because that's what we're here to do.